and it feels like a little bit of a denial pick away from Sonstar as well, who had a phenomenal Jhin performance yesterday.
Yeah, obviously Sonstar likes to play Jhin, but MrRalleZ was kind of the first of the cool kids this split to really start bringing out a lot of Jhin. Obviously Rekvis introduced the pick all the way back in Spring Split, but again, this is what Schalke have been doing. That's why they left the Trundle open to bait it as a first pick and then get the best available jungler for Gilius, where you can have a lot of early game impact. And of course this Jhin pick, a lot of teams in Europe really value Jhin now as like an ST80 carry. A lot of them were like debate, is it Caitlyn, is it Jhin as like the most focused AD carry? Right here, Caitlyn is open, she's available. And they still value the Jhin above it, if you are Schalke right now.
Really interesting. Maybe prioritizing the denial pick there, but there's also some pretty good makings of a poke composition already coming out from Schalke thus far. Of course, Nidalee Spears, as well as the potential for that long-range engage coming in for Jhin.
And we know they like to run these long-range compositions. When they've been playing Jhin before, they always paired up with a mid laner who's very long-range poke. So we've seen a Zia with it, we've seen the Varus pick with it as well. She would actually work, technically, with fairly long-range damage from a Q to then set up a Jhin snare. And also a bit more CC with their own little knockback. I don't think they're going to lock it in specifically, but it is a pick we've seen over in the LPL as well from Rookie.
Yeah.
And he played it extremely well.
The best Dahlia we've seen thus far.
Oh, for sure.
Also, one
very
of the
few
only,
ones,
not the
but
only. Yes. But
hey,
I want to jump in.
There's the Gnar.
As the Gnar does get locked in here, as we wait for Fox's pick, looking at the opposite side, looking at Giants' composition. First off, Freljord themed, can approve of that. Can't imagine that's what they're going for or what they're building around here, but getting the Ashe.
Is that not how you make comps right now? Because I know the pro players love the lore a lot. You know, they're like,
super
really
into
it.
So Lissandra, Sejuani have to be the final two picks here for lore.
And it would fit. That's a mid laner, that's a jungler. They all both offer engage against this poke comp from Schalke with the Jhin with the Nidalee.
You're supposed to pull me back when I try to go into the lore. You're not supposed to follow me into the abyss that is lore references.
They're obviously not going to pick that, but it would technically fit as a team comp. Like, Cassandra is a good pick, so...
Yeah. But looking at this, they have, once again, kind of a more utility-focused AD carry for Sonstar, or at least some utility options for that long-range engage. But now with the Gnar locked in, as well as the Thresh coming in for sprattel, it seems like Schalke, an interesting composition of their own, a lot of pick potential here, and how does the Gnar really fit into this equation?
Gnar is mainly picked because he's a fantastic counter to Trundle up top lane. We talked about Lissandra, by the way. They're so close. Distinct to the blue theme, at least. And then, it kind of counts as well.
This is why we don't talk about it.
But yes. So Gnar again is mainly just a strong counter pick to Trundle.
Oh.
Gives you a winning lane up in the 1v1, and also is a very strong team fighter. And obviously when you run these Jhin comps, very often it's like 1-4 compositions you build around it. Because you don't want to put Jhin in a side lane too often. And you want to pair him with a mid laner who has long range damage himself to make sure Jhin can then apply the W and you can kind of poke people away from towers. So he doesn't fit that well in 1-3-1 comps. He does really well in 1-4 comps, and that's where Gnar is your winning lane now on the top side versus the Trundle to stop the split push. Obviously, Giants is going for full-on split push with the Ryze in one lane, Trundle in the other lane.
This is a really interesting adaptation coming in from them with the Ryze pick, most likely for Knight in the mid lane, as well as the Hecarim jungle. We saw G2 pull this out yesterday, and it really did not work out for them. What is the theory behind Hecarim jungle? Why is this even a priority for Giants?
I mean, first of all, Hecarim jungle has been doing really well in scrims. When we had Febivan talking about it yesterday on the desk, saying like this pick, it was Perks saying it's done really well, and that's why people are like picking it more and more. But as a pick itself, it offers engage. It's a tank as well. Great clear speed once you get a few levels. He can be abused early, which is where he can struggle a little bit. But once he hits level 6, really, really strong overall tank. And if you are Giants, you see what we're seeing and like, oh, is that a Jhin and Nidalee? So that's a potential of a siege composition. Well, we need engage. Hecarim is engaged. Ashe is engaged. Follow-up from a Braum. Like, Giants are basically just drafting around the fact they need to be able to engage on Schalke.
Absolutely. Follow-up from a Trundle as well with the Pillar if you ever do get a good engage. Ryze with the chain CC. Braum as well with that ultimate. So effective when someone has already been locked up. Great for that chain CC. But the final pick now coming in from Schalke with these compositions is that Cassio for Fox in the mid lane. Opts for the cleanse, smart choice, but this is a really interesting pick.
Again, this is a pick that, together with Jhin, is extremely effective when you're sieging on towers. And that sounds weird, Cassiopeia sieging on towers. She's not like a poke champion per se, but her new W, because it covers that massive area, you just put it next to the tower, And basically, you can't step close to last hit minions anymore. Like, you can't wave clear anymore properly. If you step into that poison, you get Jhin W'd straight away, and you just get poked and you're gone. Like, completely. So it actually works extremely well when you set up these zones around towers and objectives, and that's what Schalke are doing.
Absolutely. Well, while we gear up for our game, take a second, head on over to Twitter, tweet at LOL Esports, hashtag GIA win, or hashtag S04 win, depending on who you think is going to come out on top.
What do you think, Sifa?
I'm incredibly excited about a Hecarim and a Cassio in the same game. That's what I think right now.
Now, we have one problem here. Analysts were talking about having AC. I don't feel like we have the same here at the caster desk. I am at least getting a little bit sweaty here.
It's anticipation.
It is.
You know this is about to be an action-packed game. How can it not be?
I'm nervous, you know.
You gotta take a breath. You gotta watch Giants aggressively invade.
Sending in Hecarim first, who offers no CC. Really scary stuff. You want to send your Braum in first. Just saying, I know in this case it didn't matter, but please let Braum go first so you can apply the Q and then flash onto targets right after with exhaust, and you guarantee almost a first blood every time. But yeah, doesn't matter.
Gold did not appear to be first blood there. Just trading vision here, maybe looking for the lane swap.
Sure, but again, have it just as a potential bonus, right? Or maybe they just want to show Hecarim off, like look at my horse or something, and he runs in and that's it.
It is a new pick. It's exciting.
It was new like a week ago, I'd say. It was played different regions around the world.
It's new to me.
It's new to you.
It's like the used car mentality, right?
It's fine. It's fine. I'll take it. I'll take it. But as we talked about, you know, Giants wanted to draft some hard engage, which is perfect for us. Because when compositions have hard engage, fights will always happen. Or they're going to completely fail the engage and we can laugh at that. So like we get one of the two.
You're a little cruel.
No, not towards Giants, just overall professional League of Legends. Like, we've seen a lot of
You're
Ashe
cruel in all, like not just to
right.
Giants, to everybody, right?
Yeah,
you're trying to let everyone know.
Just everyone else.
You're just mean sometimes. It's
everyone
not. It's nothing personal. Of course, lane swap not actually going to come out. We are just going to have the reverse lanes, Australia lanes coming in here. Sonstar and Hustling looking
perfect for Schalke.
You say perfect, but that is a fat trade.
Well, I mean, I'm not going to comment on the way they're trading in lane, but when it comes to the setups, you want the Gnar 1v1 on the bottom lane against Trundle, the range matchup into the melee. Great for Gnar, can always just keep him away from you. And then top lane, you have this double range setup against the Braum. So definitely good for Schalke to get these standard lanes. Have to keep in mind, even though we have the bot lanes on top side, it doesn't actually change a whole lot for jungle pathing when it comes to ganking other lanes. Because mid lane, when you have a Cassiopeia, is always an option. Guys, he's just trading.
Guys.
So we need to change that, you know, we need the crowd instead to yell like caster names when they're saying something. That'd be super cool.
Someone will coordinate it. They'll yell Deficia for you. Oh!
There we go.
All right, that guy's my hero. That made my day. But we're focusing a little bit here on the bottom lane, on the top side. I think the junglers, though, really have to be the center of attention because Hecarim, we have seen it played internationally, is newer to us. And Nidalee, while it is a standard pick, is one that Gilius, once again, the live or die by Gilius mentality. What is he going to do with this in the early game? Can he get his team ahead? Because this is such an aggressive pick.
Well, he's going to do this, Sifa, because right now, with the standard lanes, Schalke actually have pressure in every single lane, meaning your Nidalee can start invading in, be a little bit annoying, land a spear, set up a few wards, put a trap down, track the enemy jungler, and as we talked about in Champs Select, Hecarim in the very first few levels can be abused a bit, especially by Nidalee pick. So I want to see Gilius just continue playing very aggressive after his first back.
Oh.
A little bit of poking on top side, not a whole lot happening there, but you can see top lane here pushing in towards the tower. Mid lane, the Cassiopeia is still very strong in the early stages of the game, pushed in the Ryze. Bot lane, we know the Gnar is going to do more than fine against Trundle, so Schalke technically don't need to be afraid in any of the lanes.
I think it's a great place for them to be. We're going to have to see what they transition it into. So often this means a huge CS advantage for the jungler or maybe a bit of deeper vision. You can see a little bit of vision placed on the top side by both teams. Giants trying to keep that jungle safe. And the Schalke in a similar boat, just trying to make sure that this duo lane Jhin kind of vulnerable. You know, no escapes. Want to make sure that there's not going to be any surprise appearances there.
But you really want to hit level 6, you know, on Hecarim. Get level 6 on Ashe as well. And then you can start really ganking this 2v2 lane like Thresh as well. He's great if you engage on the AD carry and he gets to step back and lantern you. But if you just hit him, he's fairly squishy. He just dies, like instantly. He does nothing then. So there are definitely easy targets for Giants once they get the ultis when we look at the 2v2. But for now, that's not going to be a thing. Instead...
Oh, you can see on your screen, SmityJ's parents are here to support. He's playing his best champs, Like, this is the time to come and watch. So I think they picked an appropriate day.
Maybe they made the pick and ban phase. They're like, first pick Trundle.
Listen, we don't care what else happens. Put him on the best champ.
Same thing happened yesterday, and he carried.
Yeah.
He was actually really, really good, and I prepared this phrase for him in case he did really poorly. But he actually did really well, so I didn't get to use it.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
But right now, in this matchup, he actually should be losing a lot, so maybe we can use it later.
True. And of course, 31 to 44, the CS differential. He's going to make up a lot of that under tower, but still at a pretty decent deficit early on. And Gilius is continuing to be kind of obnoxious here, putting in a little bit of deeper vision. Hasn't gone for any plays quite yet, though.
No, he's been playing it very safe, honestly. Just been kind of warding the jungle to find Maxlore, but again, you're not that afraid of the Hecarim just yet. Also, like Thresh, when Hecarim comes pre-6 and he charges towards him, you can actually just flay him, and he won't manage to hit you and knock you back. Just as ways you can stop the ganks early on. But for now, again, not a whole lot is happening. Schalke winning slightly in like mid and bot lane in this case. And that's fine for them, because if you are Schalke, you're actually kind of waiting for Ghostblade to be completed on Jhin, and then you can start grouping together with the Cassiopeia, and you can start forcing plays at dragons, at towers. Look at that W, by the way, where every time it comes down, massive zone you cover. You can almost cover the entire river here. So if you are setting up for Dragon first, you put down the Cassiopeia W, it's very hard to run at her.
And of course, the grounded effect from that ability is going to make it difficult as they push forward in the game, especially if Fox is a huge damage threat, because if he can just hover on that range, stay away from the Ryze, Ryze isn't going to be able to flash in aggressively if he wants to, as long as Fox is careful about setting up those zones of control.
I do think Thresh is a little bit of a weird choice here as a support pick, if you want to criticize anything. Because right now as a champion, Thresh is only good if you're like an absolute monster on him, and if you manage to like snowball the game by creating picks. I want to see if that happens. SmityJ though, he's in trouble.
Gilius taking a bit of damage here in this exchange. Subjugate goes down. A lot of pressure onto the top side. Both teams opting to swap the lanes here. Schalke determined to get this tower first, but Giants are already collapsing on the bottom side. Fox goes in. Aggressive use of the ult. Knight taking a lot of damage. Just a quick trade of summoner spells there, or not summoner spells, cooldowns there.
But I think Giants, they managed to reach this tower a little bit earlier, already pushing it down. So yes, they lost flash on SmityJ. Still getting a tower and can take a dragon right after if they want to, because it's so even in terms of how fast they're killing these towers. Can also just say, you know what, it's an Ocean Drake, we don't value it that high, and instead just go back to our top lane. Make sure you always maximize the farm instead. But I think taking dragon is good, so I like this choice. Ocean Drake in the early game is very powerful as well. So it's a good swap for Giants, because they managed to swap very quickly and then actually reach tower before Schalke did. So even with SmityJ losing flash, which you can then argue, should he have been there in the first place? No, he shouldn't have. But
at the same time, they guarantee the TP coming out of Steve. I mean, it's traded for SmityJ's, but they're trading cooldowns across the map. They're trading towers evenly, and now they're getting the dragons as well. Feels like it's a pretty okay situation for Giants. Really, the only issue for them is some of these farm differentials, mostly in the bot lane right now, between that Jhin and that Ashe. 13 at this stage, and surprisingly, the top lane now evening out after that swap.
Well, for now, keep in mind Steve is sitting with the wave right now, getting to push that out. Actually, will even out, you're right, because he will push down towards SmityJ. So only the AD carry is where we get a difference. But Giants' composition is about playing the side lanes with Ryze and Trundle, where Schalke is about grouping together with the four-man group, as we talk about so often. So whichever team is able to actually make the first move on the map, so like if Schalke is able to get Ghostblade completed and first start grouping around mid lane, they can force Giants back and force them to not even split push for like 1 or 2 minutes, because they just put pressure on towers.
Things are getting
okay.
Nice flash out there.
That was Lantern. That was terrible.
Yeah, Lantern out, flash in from Hustlin. Pretty aggressive move there, but they're just looking to make picks. As you said, want to find that lead to really start this 1-3-1.
But they saw sprattel in the bot lane. I'm just going back on my screen to check. They actually saw him first. He then stepped into ward, and he then stayed way behind MrRalleZ because he saw the Hecarim coming on the ward, and Hosting just went all in for it. Clearly not expecting sprattel to still be there. Losing the flash. But as you said, trying to create a pick.
Yeah, looking to make something happen here at this stage of the game. Of course, Schalke's actually starting to build a decent gold lead on farm. Fox gets aggressive. Steve's on the back side. Boomerang blade in. Knight, can he trade this back? Doesn't look like it. First blood drops. Maxlore, is he next on the menu? Yep. Double kills. Back to back, picked up by Schalke.
Steve, we just talked about how if Schalke gets the group first around the mid lane, they can really create some sick picks here. That was almost too easy, because it was just a Cassiopeia ulti right in the face of Knight, and then Maxlore was out of position, got caught as well. And suddenly 2 kills and a mid tower for Schalke. Massive goal lead at 10 minutes.
And it was just 1K a second ago. It's moving up to almost 3 as they take that the 2 kills on the single tower there. Massive differential already. Game is just opened up for Schalke.
But here, I mean, Knight needs to expect the ulti coming, and then he has to like step back real quick. He gets stunned, so he goes down. And then Maxlore at the same time. He has ulti right now. Sees the hook flying, doesn't use it. Gets caught and just dies. Like, keep in mind, Hecarim is extremely squishy at this point in the game. He doesn't even have Cinderhole completed yet.
Yeah, just bits and pieces of the build here as well. And one of the big things is that Miasma not letting Ryze flash out.
I love that name, by the way. Sounds like you say my ass every time.
Miasma. Of course, the ability name.
Just keep saying it.
Derail me, please.
Oh, okay. Knight, he wants to derail MrRalleZ. He's going for it.
2 buttons, snare locked down, but it's just going to be a trade of snares here. Knight really taking his time on this one. Not going to. Oh, Lantern! Knight backs off. Doesn't want to chase that kill down. I thought for sure MrRalleZ was down. Oh. Cleanse instantly. It's just blood across the map. Maxlore looking to make something happen. Good sidestep from Fox. In comes Gilius to back up his mid laner. Maxlore grounded briefly. Giants backing off. They're trying to make something happen, though. They want to get back into this game.
But right now, Schalke is mechanically outplaying Giants in all these small skirmishes. He always manages to either sidestep or have a guy nearby who can quickly join in. Know how to buy enough time. Sprattle twice now. Saved MrRalleZ with the Lantern. They're in the right place at the right time. And now you have these first items completed. If you are Schalke, Morello's there, Ghostblade is there for MrRalleZ. You can start grouping together with the foreman like we saw before and really create some picks, because Giants, they need this Ryze to have full pressure in his side lane. Ryze really shines in the mid game. He's actually not that insane in the late game anymore, because his damage is so hard to deal, and you need so much time to deal enough damage as a Ryze. Too many things can stop you and force your way, stop your entire rotation. So he's really good in the mid game. Give him Rod of Ages, give him his Xeraths, give him Void Stuff, and he will be a monster. But mainly in the 1v1s, in the side lanes, and then if you can TP flank.
Really looking probably to set up those flanks. They have the Hecarim, the double TPs on their comp, and they're looking to secure this Rift Herald for SmityJ on the top side. Talk about how frustrating that Gnar versus Trundle matchup can be with the range advantage. Rift Herald will help out a decent amount here. It's really just a question of, will this alleviate a lot of the pressure that is currently in the top lane for Schalke?
I mean, it will make it a bit easier for SmityJ, but the problem for him is he can never really get close to Steve in mini Gnar. So it won't really save him like that. Instead, Schalke is setting up a pick on bottom side. Knight, he's going for another one.
He took the bait. He's going to get locked up. Sure to fall here. Mid laner for Giants not having a good game as Schalke read him like a book.
It's, again, because Schalke have this goal lead, have this advantage on the map, so they can always be proactive. They're always the ones setting up the plays. Knight steps just, honestly, near the river, and it's like, yeah, you're now overextended, we're gonna go gank you because you're top laner. It's not really a threat for us because we have Gnar. You're mid lane, well, we don't care about that at the moment. Easy, easy setup for Schalke. Full control in this game. Funny enough, the same thing that happened yesterday for Giants. First game against Vitality, they just fell apart. Lost in 26 minutes.
And this is something that I talked to Maxlore about yesterday.
Wait for it, Steve.
Arrow is going to connect on MrRalleZ, maybe looking for the fight. Maxlore over the wall, Jhin all alone, but the exhaust is going to go down. Sonstar locked up. Steve out of nowhere. Meganar's on the way, folks. He's going to try to make more happen. Giants trade one back. Curtain call.
SmityJ.
Not going to be a death sentence for anyone. Canceled out, but smack from Steve comes in, locking them down. Knight tries to make the hero play. A beautiful hook will not save the life of sprattel, but a quick triple for MrRalleZ in the end.
That was such a close fight. There were low members everywhere. Sprattel as well with the hero hook just in the end on Knight. Otherwise, I think MrRalleZ would have gone down as well. Looked very close, but Giants while they find a good engage on MrRalleZ, the follow-up just wasn't there. This Hecarim pick, it just needs more time. You need to be extremely farmed on Hecarim to be impactful. And right now, Maxlore's been taken down twice. He only has, again, a Cinderhole completed, so he's honestly squishy still. And it's really difficult for him to sit in that back line and buy enough time.
At this stage of the game, there's nearly a 2k gold difference between the jungles. 2-1 and 2 the score for Gilius, in addition to that massive CS differential. So things just are really rough. And as we look at this fight one more time, you can see where it goes wrong for Giants.
Yeah, so arrow straight on RalleZ. He's obviously behind both Gilius and sprattel, so Maxlore dives in, but then it's now him against 3 members. And he's not tanky enough to buy enough time here, so he goes down. And while sprattel and RalleZ are low, SmityJ gets flayed back, and then a great stun from Steve, kind of saving the day. And look at a hook here from sprattel. A little bit lucky, time straight into the flash, but another small victory for Schalke in the fight, granting a bigger victory. Heading gold.
Almost 6k ahead now as they start to dive into this mid lane. They've put Knight so far down already, and they're just looking to keep that train rolling. Skill shots flying under that tower.
Giants will get a top tower, but that's about it right now. We see Schalke always try and group around mid lane. They keep pushing the bottom lane with sprattel and RalleZ, and then they move to mid. They move in to always join the Cassiopeia and start setting up the zone control with the W, create some picks. Giants with a good little rotation, but there's no minions at this point, and RalleZ is looking to push out one more wave, and then he can either join the team in mid lane, or if Schalke can push out mid, they can actually join him on the bottom side. But you always need 2 lanes next to each other to push at the same time, otherwise you can't.
And look at this Deficio, they have to send Trundle down to respond, and RalleZ is completely aware because Schalke owned that side of the Giants jungle. Vision everywhere, Gilius running down to that bottom lane, ready to support. Schalke definitely taking control of the map.
Sadly for them, no dragon to take at the moment, so you gotta start sieging on tier 2 towers very early in the game. No TPs for Giants, so no real threat of being flanked if you are Schalke. And as you just said, you know, keep that vision in the jungle. You can see the Hecarim coming. And you can also often spot the arrow if it flies from one lane to another, because you see it on the wards. Maxlore, having a great game.
Just gonna have to try to run this one out. Knight ready for the turnaround if necessary, but taking so much damage overall. Schalke set up for a siege in the mid lane.
And you see this again, the W from Cassiopeia.
Oh, that's going to be a quick pick.
Okay. I could have even play-by-play that one.
I mean, he died.
He died.
That was about all. I
he
mean,
did.
Ideally, that was pretty much the only amount of time I had to say anything in that exchange. Very quick pick for Schalke. Now they have control in the jungle, they have control of the minion waves, and they're looking to break this tier 2 tower. Fox on the side, ready to go in if necessary. Giants, I don't know if they can do anything here.
No, I had to give up the tower. And there are 2 things I really like, Sifa. Well, there's a lot of things I like, but there are 2 things in this game I really like. When you pick Gnar into Trundle, I think it's always great because at best you go even in farm, and then you go into team fights in the mid game, and you're very strong on the Gnar. And I like to see RalleZ play Jhin. Because I think whenever Schalke is playing Jhin, they understand how to build comps around it, and they understand how to move the Jhin around, and he's very, very good at landing these long-range skill shots. Like, RalleZ is Mr. Consistent. He's always been. He's never been the massive carry who goes 20-0 every game, but he always had a solid game. And when you play Jhin, and you have the ability to just set up these picks with your team, because you're good with skill shots, well, you suddenly sit as 3-0-3, 18 minutes into the game, and your team has a massive gold lead.
And this is one of the interesting things is I really like, as you said, this sets up for RalleZ to be Mr. Consistent, but it also helps Gilius be consistent, which has been that huge point that we talked about at the start of the game, because Nidalee, much easier for her to get those kills when she has the snare follow-up across the map. We've seen Gilius be a massive threat in a lot of those bot lane exchanges, and really just feels like a much better team effort coming in from Schalke this time around.
And exactly as we talked about before the game, we have a situation here where Gilius has not tried to be a hero on his own. He's been following Schalke around. He's been joining with RalleZ and sprattel multiple times to create picks. And he's been getting his kills in team fights, or that one gank in the bottom lane. He's not been like invading and solo killing Maxlore. He actually played it very safe. He was like running around river, just warding in the entrance, and then he just backed away. So he played, right now, a game where you would say it's not because of Gilius they're winning, but he's always helping. He's always there. He's assisting his team He's making sure RalleZ can always farm, and sprattel get a caught.
Sprattel, chain CC comes in. Sprattel's gonna drop. Giants picking up their first kill, but the fight's not over. Steve into the back line. Gnar on the way, smacks SmityJ into the wall. Fox burns down one member. The 2v1 for the mid laner, and Schalke just ripping through SmityJ on the back half. RalleZ, so much damage. Sonstar, what are you doing? Burns down. Is that another ace coming in for Schalke, and a triple for Fox?
I mean, this fight looked so good for Giants at first. Managed to create a quick pick on sprattel, and Knight even got a great flank. And then Schalke turns it around completely. Gilius even managed to win the 1v1 duel like at the red buff after, let's say, a 20-minute Baron. I think this is the earliest Baron we have seen in the EU LCS this split. It literally just spawned. 11 seconds, the Baron was alive.
11 seconds. Schalke absolutely in control, and Giants' best efforts to start the fight there did not work out for them at all. And when we'll get to look at that in a second, I think the biggest issue is what do Giants do to come back now? We'll check that team fight.
Oh, there's definitely big issues, that's for sure. So, picks right onto sprattel. Gilius being a proper teammate here, jumping to the side. And now look at the flank from Knight. This is actually great. This is what you want to do on this Ryze. He gets to stand here with two squishy members in the back, but so does Fox down the bottom lane here, down the bottom side of your screen. And in the end, he can just play 1v3 and win it, and Sonstar flash straight into the wall.
One of the issues, SmityJ.
Yep, I agree on that one.
Fix the hair.
I agree.
Interesting reaction. Got it.
Yeah. Well, we lost the fight, but my hair looks pretty good.
The thing I wanted to point out is that you just saw Ashe completely zoned out of the fight after the arrow from a single miasma coming from Fox. Just
miasma? Had to do it.
All right. From a single W, how about that?
Yeah, I like it.
Unless you have some interesting keybinds there, Deficio. Just zones out that member of the fight, and then it's a support trying to duel the mid laner. It just does not work out.
Yeah, you want to know, see if the biggest disadvantage about it being a pro player, for current pro players and former pro players, you actually don't learn the spell names. Because everyone just goes like QWER. That's everything. Whenever the players are here talking, they're like, yeah, this ability, you know, Q is really strong, and like they never know the name.
Are you under the illusion that anyone who plays this game actively goes, guys, I have Enchanted Crystal Arrow available for the next fight?
No, but I know quite a few play-by-play casters.
Yeah, but that's like a thing we learn. Like, I didn't go,
I should learn all the names, but I like QWER. It's just
some of the names are awesome. That's the thing I like about learning the name, but sometimes you just gotta say QWER. As the R lands here, Hustlin goes in, sprattel once again, the sacrificial lamb, flashing to safety, CC coming in from Fox, Maxlore doing his best to zone. Once again, though, a support drops. Gilius suddenly in the backline, Steve running forward, no Gnar available, but he does so much damage. Pop!
Oh.
My God, double kill coming in for RalleZ. Snare to back it up, he's the man of the hour, and Giants set to fall once again. Sonstar not even gonna get the return kill. Schalke controlling the pace as they look to break the inhibitor line.
Such a good game, Sifa, from Schalke every single time. Multiple members showing up here, the Cassiopeia pick, great ultis, even from the early game. 22 minutes in, they're pushing for next turrets.
Maybe to end this game. Hustler doing what he can to defend. Steve jumps forward aggressively. 22 minutes in, RalleZ burning through the towers.
I think they gotta run.
Sonstar takes so much damage from that spear, but Schalke backing off. Have to be happy though. Get the fight, get the dive. We can watch it one more time. Giants still trying to make things happen.
And this, you know, it all looks a bit fancy. You hide behind the wall, you fire an arrow, but the problem is you're running 5 members straight at a Cassiopeia now. And your comp needs to flank to win these. But again, obviously we are in a situation where Giants are really far behind, so these fights will never go exactly the way they want them to go, and RalleZ with some great snipes in the end, and rest of Schalke diving in, getting the kills. And that's the thing for Giants, right? They would have loved to play split push in this game. They would absolutely love to put Ryze in that side lane, but they tried. They were already behind when they did it, and he got ganked and died. So they basically said, you know what, boys? We can only fight our way back. We have to just pick some crazy team fights, try and outplay Schalke. If we fail, well, we would have lost anyway. Once you fell behind and you messed up in the early game, Giants in this composition, like when you play Ryze, he is so bad when he's behind. You just have to try almost, and that's what they've been doing, and that's why it looks even worse. And RalleZ now eats the arrow.
No follow-up going to come in here from Giants. Not in range for that one. SmityJ locked down, potentially in trouble. Curtain call hits one, hustling. Body blocks for the team, but Knight's on the side. He's dueling the mid laner. Fox looking for the 1v1. Oh my god, the Cassio damage is insane. Steve, he's gonna miss the ult. SmityJ flashes to safety. Exhaust drops. Cleanse in from Fox. Smitty going to fall. Fox playing cleanup. MrRalleZ suddenly available. Saves the crit for style points as Thresh is gonna pick up that one and hustling. Tail between his legs, just has to run back to base. Shortest game this season was 25 minutes. Fnatic Unicorns of Love.
Oh, they gotta hurry then.
Schalke maybe looking to set some records here.
Was it 25 minutes exactly?
Oh, I don't know that specifically.
Because that's the big one here. 25:05. All right, 10 seconds. Ah, they're gonna do it. They got time.
Let's see, Schalke on the way to close out this game. Fox taking a bit of damage here, but at the end of the day, the game will end, and the fastest game